Hi students, today I'm going to teach you how to tune your violin with an app. Now this app that I'm using is called Instuner, Instuner. You can download free of charge from your Apple App Store. There's also an Android version and a Chinese version. Now, before we learn to tune the violin, let's revise what are all the four strings. The four strings we have is the G string, D string, A string, and E string. Now, you have been learning the A major scale, which starts on the A string and it goes on to the E string. So that's A and that's E. You've learned D major scale, which starts on D and moves on to A string. And your G major scale starts on G and moves on to the D string. Now, if you look at the D string here, the note lower than the D is a C, and the note higher than the D is an E. Now, sometimes your string can be so out of tune that it is sounding like a G or an E. And in which case, if your D string is sounding like an E, the app will show an E. And you'll be wondering, why is it showing an E when I'm playing on the D string? Now that's because you are too sharp. Too sharp means too high. So you need to lower the frequency to a D. And if you're too flat, that means it's too low, you need to sharpen or move it higher to D. Now, if your string is hovering around D, it will show you D on the screen, but it will tell you to move it higher or lower. That means you're around the region of D, but you're either too sharp or too flat. Too sharp means too high, too flat means too low. Okay? Now the same with the A string, right? Most of the time we are always flat. When you play too much on your A and E string, especially for beginners, they become flat. Flat means the string is a bit loose, and when it's too flat, it's around this region. Okay, so then you need to sharpen it. All right, the same with the E, right? Sometimes it's too flat. Usually it's too flat or too high. Okay, so if it shows a D, then you know it's really, really very low, and you need to go higher when you tune. Now, how do we tune the violin? You see, there are four adjusters on the violin. These are the fine tuners. The major adjuster are the pegs here. This is when you change the string. This is when you use this only if, for instance, you dropped your violin, or for some reason you went into a very hot room and a cold room, and with a big change in temperature the strings might just go and then that's when you have to use the pegs. And when you use the pegs, be very careful, because when you tighten it too tight, the string will break. So when we use the pegs, please ask your mommy and daddy to do it for you. They will have to tighten it slowly, and sometimes I advise people to loosen a little bit first, then you tighten, because the tightening part might be so tight that you can't even move the pegs. Then you need to loosen, tighten, okay, until the string is around sounding almost like an E. Okay, then you do the fine tuning with your adjusters. All right, so now another tip is that sometimes after using the adjusters for so long, and they become so tight that you need to tune higher, and you can't tighten it anymore. So when I say tight, that means when your string is too low and you want to tune higher, you have to tighten it. And to tighten it, you turn it clockwise. When it's uh uh when it's when it is when you want to make it lower, when your string is too high, you want to make it lower or make it flatter, you need to loosen it. To loosen it, you have to move it anti-clockwise. Okay, so if your adjusters, after a period of time, you just tune here and your adjusters are so tight, you may have to loosen them and then make the big adjustment here. Okay, so usually the violin teacher will do it, but as you get older, you will learn to do it yourself. All right, now I'm going to start with my A string. Oh, my A string is, it says to tune down. Sorry, it's too flat. It says to tune up. You have to be really close to this app tuner. Okay, let's try again. Okay, so you see, if you go too high, it goes to the other region, and if it's too low, it will show you the orange and red region. Okay, it's green. When it's green, that means it's in tune. Let's do the E string. E is showing a D, which means I have to go higher up. D is actually the lower note. Now it's an E. Oh, okay, I'm almost there. Also not in tune. The D is showing me an E note. Now that's in tune, okay? Now F is lower than G, so the G is very low. So it has to go higher. So when you go higher, you turn clockwise. Now the G is green, so it's in tune. Now the E is in tune. Usually we tune the violin using fifths. I will play two strings together, and when it's a fifth, the two notes will blend very nicely. If you're an advanced violinist, you should be doing that. You will just tune the A, and then after that, use your ears to listen for the fifths. That's a fifth, okay? But if you are not so advanced, then you use the app, all right? So the app is pretty good too, okay? So while I hope you learn to be a better tuner and try to tune your violin every day before you practice. If you tune a violin every day, you will just be making minor adjustments every day, okay? If you leave your violin, for 2 weeks and you don't play on it, or you drop your violin, sometimes it gets really out of tune, and then you will have to make major adjustments, okay? So download this app called Instuner, Instuner, and use the chromatic chromatic tuner option. Okay? All right. Happy tuning. Bye.